We're good. How are you guys? Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. He he's wild. He's cute from over there, but he's wild over here. Yeah, see, he got his punching bag already. He loves this thing. Yeah, how about that? Wow, power slam. Good job. Good job. Oh, mommy's home. All right. Now we're in the clear. Let's do it.
Well, I suppose the first thing is congratulations on the last fight against Basement.
Oh, thank you.
That was some job, 25 seconds. What was the rush?
Yeah. Hey, you know what, man? They don't all work out like that. You know, as you guys know, you saw that last fight, so you can get a quick one. I say take it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because I was just thinking after that, like, do you ever wish a fight would go on longer so you could, like, demonstrate more of your skills or even just pound the head of someone for an extra minute? Or was that, like, the perfect day at the office?
Well, you know, I did. As soon as the fight was over, I kind of told my coaches, you know, because I had some, you know, some stuff I've been working I wanted to showcase. But again, then I watched that last fight and I was like, you know what? I think that's fine. We'll take that 25 seconds.
Well, it's even better when you get the paycheck.
Yeah, and I got paid as well, so you know, double bonus for sure.
I was wondering too, how much easier is it to prepare for a bare knuckle fight? You know, when you're preparing for MMA, there's a lot more to it. Like there's a whole grappling, wrestling, all that. You get to concentrate just on the boxing. Does it make training easier?
I mean, it's kind of a you know a little bit plus and minus. You know, I'm gonna train as hard as I can for whatever I do. So it means you know a lot more jump rope, a lot more footwork drills. You know, and some of that stuff kind of gets repetitive. You know, I kind of actually I was starting to miss my jujitsu training to be honest with you.
And do you get to do much of that now at all, or is that just for like yourself personally?
You know, I had a fight to win match after my last bare knuckle, and I was actually scheduled for submission underground. I was gonna go against Jake Shields, but then the bare knuckle guys called me and they said, "Hey, we want you June 22nd." You know, so it's today is day one back in training camp.
Ah, right. Damn it, that was a question for later on, but yeah, I might have asked you about that now. What
Okay.
you're fighting? Was it Brennan Ward? And
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
just start preparing for that now, yeah?
I am. Yeah, I mean it's 2 months out, so you know, not you know, I had a week of eating junk food and sitting around. I think I trained maybe 2 hours of jiu-jitsu last week, and that was about the only physical thing I did. And then so now it's back to the grind.
It is. And I was watching, just know the way you're saying about eating junk food and stuff. I was watching that documentary you had leading up to the Baroni fight, and you know
Mm-hmm.
you've changed like your diet and lifestyle kind of completely now. Are you still
Yeah.
you still doing, you know, like for your heart health and stuff? You're still taking all those kind of vitamins and spices and all that?
Yep, yeah, my old lady's great, you know. She puts all those powders together for me, so all I got to do is throw it in a shaker and choke it down.
And you're feeling the benefits from it, obviously.
I mean, you know, something's working, you know, so could be the powders, you know, the that maybe cutting out the booze is probably good too, you know. So, you know, something's definitely working though.
And how do you celebrate after a win now then? Because I'm sure you used to go out on that lash altogether when you'd, you know, back in the day.
Yeah, it was funny talking to you know, my coaches and my friends and say, you know, I was complaining about how I had a little bit of a sugar hangover. You know, and I mean, you know, you're pretty healthy when you're complaining about sugar a week after your fight, because that certainly wouldn't have been the case if we were talking to me a week after a UFC event. Sugar wouldn't have been the problem.
No. And another thing as well, you were doing the red. Sorry, I've seen this all in that documentary thing. You know, we were
Yeah.
doing the red light therapy.
Yeah.
How did you find that? That's something that's really interesting, I think.
Well, I actually went in to do. I signed up for cryotherapy one day. I walked in there. Turned out I knew a couple of people that own the place, and in talking to them, they're big fight fans, and they offered to sponsor me. So they do the cryotherapy there. Then they do the red light bed, and then they do infrared sauna. So pretty good. I hit my morning training, then I can go in there and kind of do a circuit, and I'm at home in time for my nap.
And since like your son came along, obviously that must have changed things around for you an awful lot. How do you how do you view fighting and your fighting career now, especially with like a family and stuff? Is it more kind of make your money, get out sort of thing, rather than kind of just going balls to the wall, for want of a better phrase?
Well, I think, as we get older, you always have to have a reason that you're fighting, but, ultimately those reasons change. When I was young, you know, I was fighting to prove something. I came from kind of a shitty upbringing, and I was trying to prove that I was tough and I was worthy. Now, that I have a family, one of my motivations when I'm backstage before I walk out is providing, making it home safely, providing him with the things that I didn't have the opportunity to have when I was a kid. So um it I think the motivations just change. It's more important to me now than ever, but just different driving factors.
And would you ever encourage himself to pick up a career later on in life, or send him down a different route?
Well, he's gonna train, that's for sure. We're gonna we're gonna make sure that, but you know hopefully he's college bound, but whatever he wants to do, I'm going to encourage him to do it.
And it's nice now that you can actually provide that comfortably for him as well. You can see you can have a
Right.
future for him, put him through college and stuff. Because it's expensive enough over there compared to where we are over here.
It's college. Yeah, college ain't cheap. Yeah, I mean, I think basically now here they will loan you money to go to college forever. You can run yourself in as much debt as you want, and pretty much everybody can go, but ultimately you got to pay it back.
And like that's the horrible thing too when people over there get into college. They have huge debts that they have to actually repay before they go anywhere into making like money for themselves to actually start up their own life nearly.
Right. They like to get you started off with a bunch of debt, so you're locked into the system.
Just going back to the Baroni fight as well, we mentioned earlier, that was fairly odd, wasn't it? Like there was an awful lot of him kind of like clinching and shooting on you. Like what was going through your head when he was doing that? Because I know what was going through mine.
Well, it was interesting. I think I gave him a little too much credit initially. I was like, maybe he was faking like he was going to go for a takedown. So I dropped my hands and then he'd come up with a hook or an uppercut. But, after I spoke with him on Instagram, and, he said that, right off the bat, the first time he clinched, I caught him with an uppercut. Hard to see on the tape. But he said from that point forward, he was basically just trying to stay on his feet. Yeah, he was out of it from about 3 seconds into the fight. So, that once I heard that, I was like, oh, okay. And then I went back and I watched it. You can kind of see there's a real tight uppercut right up the middle, about this far away from my face that catches him. And that after that, he was just trying to play catch up.
And now I don't really know if you can speak much on this, but the whole WBKFF shenanigans that are going on. Is there any update on that? I know you were kind of pursuing them kind of legally or something.
Yes. So everybody in the interview can be clear because people have got this confused. The WBKFF and BKFC, two separate companies, okay? Obviously, I would not fight again for the people that didn't pay me. Why people would assume that, I don't know. But let's just be clear about that first. So the previous organization, Boss Rutan was the president. Those guys, um, they didn't pay me. I haven't heard from Boss or the owner at all since I finally I waited 3.5 months. They continue to tell me we're gonna pay you, we're gonna pay you. It'll be next week, it'll be tomorrow, literally down to, hey, we're gonna get you some money today. And then every time it was, oh, it's not gonna work out. Though after a while you go, there was never a chance of it working out. You guys have just been putting me on, you know?
Was it a scam from the start, just to put on the event, take the money, and then dip out?
You know, worst case scenario, I think that's very likely. I for certain can't say that was the plan. Um, how much of a part of it Boss was and how much he knew, I can't say for certain. I think best case scenario, he knew that bank account was frozen and we weren't going to get paid immediately after our fight. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario, he knew we were never going to get paid. So either way, not great, you know. But yeah, so I've got a lawsuit going, and these things take time. I've been giving my lawyer a little bit of time because we had to file the claim with the state, then we have to wait a month, then we have to serve him, then he gets a month to respond. So I think that's where we're at now. We're waiting for that month to go. I believe they have not responded as of yet. They've been served, so now we're just waiting. And then we'll see what happens from there. Ultimately, I think I have a pretty good chance of winning. However, once getting paid from them is a whole nother story. Yeah.
It's a pain in the arse after putting on the fight. Like, and I know it was a quick enough fight, and you didn't take damage at all, as far as I could see. But the point is, you should be paid.
Exactly. That's irrelevant. I mean, for me, it's not the fight. The fight's the fun part. It's the freaking training camp. It's the 3 months of starving to death and not being able to spend time with my family and having to worry about my schedule and training and making sure I get a nap in. And that's what makes the fight go quick. Is the training camp I put in. And let's face it, I'm no spring chicken. I mean, I don't know how many fights I have left in me, so obviously I made the choice to go with the guys that were going to give me the most money, and it's just really unfortunate because, like we talked about earlier, my motivation for fighting is, that was actually my plan, was that was going to be college money, you know. It, that's where it went. All the money that I made from this last fight all went into to savings for college, because again, I might have one more fight left, I might have five, I don't know. I do know that college is a tough thing to pay for on a coach's salary. So that extra chunk, that's what the plan was. And the fact that potentially going into this they knew nobody was going to get paid is pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah, because they're not thinking of the other side of it. Like, it's not just not paying a fighter. It's, you were thinking of, like, the future for your child, and family and stuff.
Right. That's exactly it. And the other thing I'm curious about, because I've heard some rumors, is how much money did Boss Rutan get paid up front? Because he's still continuing to support this guy, the owner of the show, which, if it wasn't for a financial contribution, I don't understand why he would be continuing to back this guy in this organization. Uh, why exactly? Why wouldn't you go, hey, look, man, I got fucked over like the rest of you guys. You know, I had, I thought this was going to happen. This didn't happen. This guy's a piece of crap. He screwed us all. I mean, I'd be saying whatever I had to say to save my ass if it was me. But that's not what's going on.
Yeah, it sounds to me like he's not in the same boat as the rest of you. Like it seems like he might have gotten taken care of. Like they got their money and like forget about the fighters nearly.
I'm 99.9. Well, let's just put it this way. I can't prove it, but I know he got taken care of. It's a small world, this fighting community, you know. He got a whole bunch of money up front, as I understand it, and there's your motivation.
That's so annoying. Like,
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, you know. And also on that point, why wouldn't he have gone on record and said, "Hey, I didn't get a bunch of money up front"? We haven't seen that either, you know.
actually, yeah, more to the point.
You know, like, hey, look, man, I didn't get paid either. Haven't heard that. That's pretty. I mean,
Like that's damning in itself.
I think everybody else is saying they didn't get paid. Why isn't he? You know,
And so now with BKFC, it's what the complete opposite nearly.
they're great. BKFC's great. Dave Feldman is awesome. You know, I think he caught fire in a bottle with the bare knuckle and how culture is primed for that sport right now and how exciting it is. You know, and I think he's doing things right. I really do. Um, you know, the promotion seems to be getting every show. It gets a little bit bigger. It gets a little bit more press. You know, after that last one, some people said some good things, some people said some bad things, but the bottom line is every freaking buddy is talking about it. You know, and that's the most important thing, man. BKFC is the hot topic right now.
And what did you think of the reaction? Because on Twitter, like I'd follow a lot of MMA heads, and they were all saying, "Oh, it's a bit brutal." But like we'd say, MMA has like there's shins to the head, there's elbows and stuff. That seems an awful
That's
lot worse.
exactly it. You know what? That was a brutal fight. Sure. We have those fights in MMA too. I mean, look, I watched Cyborg get his freaking skull caved in from an uncovered knee to the dome. I've never seen a bare knuckle cave somebody's dome in. Let's face it, as ugly as their faces were after the fight, that's cosmetic. You know what I mean? It is. It's superficial cuts, bruises. Those things heal. You know, getting your skull caved in. Well, I hope it. You know what I mean? Like that. That's much worse. Yeah. You know, we can kick to the head. We can knee and elbow to the head. You know, but no bare knuckle. I mean, I guess it's my opinion's really not fair because I haven't gotten hit much in the last two fights that I've had. But you know, I think I like it, man. It changes the game. You got to be a lot more precise with your punching. You know, you can't do a lot of stuff that you can do in boxing. You know, so you know it's as real as it gets.
And how do you find the hands after a fight? Because in other words, they're usually wrapped and you have like gloves or whatever on. Like, how do you feel now? Because it doesn't, the wraps don't go above the knuckles.
No, bare knuckle. Yeah, they actually want you to be you know, two finger lengths, you know, or an inch back from the knuckles. So basically the same standard we would apply with gauze under an MMA glove or with tape. You know, that's what they want with the bare knuckle, but no gauze or tape over the knuckles. You know, my knuckle was a little jacked after Baroni because I that last punch caught him right in the top of the head. You know, and I definitely bruised that knuckle, but it actually, you know, it's bigger now. I think it's even better now than it was before the fight. So, you know, I'm kind of grateful in the long run. Um, and then, you know, the last fight, I mean, truthfully, once that bell rings, the one thing that's not going through my head is that I don't have gloves on. You know what I mean? I'm too worried about self-preservation. So during the fight, I don't even notice it.
And when you're training for a fight like that, now, we'll say, do you train with gloves? Or I presume you have to train at some stage bare knuckle as well. Like, how do you spar someone like that?
Well, you can't. You can't. Let's just face it. You can't really spar bare knuckle, but you got to hit a lot of bag and you got to hit a lot of mitts bare knuckle because I mean the difference between a boxing glove and an MMA glove is huge. You know, with no glove on, I mean, you think that's probably what about 3 inches in your reach when it comes to a boxing glove. I mean, finding that sweet spot, with that range and that timing, those 3 inches are huge. So you've really got to get, initially everything I hadn't thrown a lot without gloves, so everything I was throwing was a little bit short, you know, and that's actually why even in an MMA fight, the last couple of weeks before the fight, I won't wear boxing gloves. I'll do all my mitts, everything with MMA gloves because that range really does make a difference.
It's amazing. Yeah, because suppose you need to stay out of reach of getting hit yourself, but still maintain your whatever distance you can get yourself.
Right, right. And it's a fine line right there. It's a tightrope walk, so it takes some calibrating.
And what's a typical day then for your training, say leading up to a fight? Like, what do you do? Is it early start? I'm presuming.
Yeah, it started today, so I'm up at 5. I'm in the gym by 6. I do a couple private lessons. Then I went over today with strength and conditioning. So 8 to 9:30 did my strength and conditioning. Then I hit the cryotherapy. I come home, like right now is typically nap time. I'm back at the gym by 3:30 for 4 o'clock team practice. I do team practice, and then at 5:30 I teach jujitsu. 6:30 I teach wrestling or MMA. I go home, I eat dinner, and I go to bed.
So you're not even just concentrating on just your training. You have classes to put on yourself as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I don't know. I family comes first. Taking care of my family, and I love the gym I'm at. I love my job. So I don't want to just because I'm fighting again. I don't want to abandon those things.
Yeah, true. You can't put them on the back burner.
Right, right.
And just another one. Did you ever? I don't know how this is true, but did you ever see years ago where they used to like punch buckets of like ice water to like strengthen up their knuckles and fists and stuff? Is that nonsense, or does that actually help, or have you even considered that?
What I was doing is there's a thing called a vibe plate. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's you stand on it and it vibrates. It increases bone density. Actually, NASA invented it for the astronauts. For bone density in outer space. I've been doing knuckle push-ups on one. I don't know. Does it help? I don't know. But it feels like it's doing something to me. So,
Sure, why not?
why not? You know what? Why not? Yeah. Can't hurt.
And do you have any prediction then for your next fight on June 22nd? How do you reckon?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what I said before the last one is you never have an easy one and then another easy one. So I had two relatively easy ones. So, I got to be ready for a war.
Well, yeah. Fingers crossed now. I'd love if you did it in like 12 seconds. I'd be pretty happy.
I wouldn't mind either. But, you know, per, you prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
And I won't keep you too much longer. Just wondering with because I think Artem and Paulie are fighting on the same card, as far as I know. What do you reckon of that fight?
A lot of hype behind it. I mean that is whether Artem is healed up or not. Is going to be tough to tell. I mean, as I was going to the airport, he was just getting back from the hospital, and I'll tell you what. Here it is. 8 days since the fight. He's not training yet. I'll tell you that right now. So even if he was healed up in time, is he going to be healed up in time to put a full training camp in? Fight's June 22nd. That's 8 weeks from now. So, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. You know, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Does like the way you suppose your knuckles swell up and stuff? How long would it take for that to actually go down to allow you to even train?
For the swelling, for his face or his hand? Oh, his hand. I don't know. It was pretty bad, man. Because I looked at that hand. I said, "Well, that hand's broken." And he said, "They told me at the hospital it wasn't broken." And I'm like, "No, I'm pretty certain that hand's broken." He's like, "Well, then again, the guy in the room next to me did get hit by a train, and so I guess they kind of had to, not a big hospital. So when the guy came in after getting hit by a train, they kind of had to abandon him, you know." And it almost sounds like they went, "Hey, man, your hand's good. I'm stitching legs on over here. You know what I mean?" Like, so, I don't know. Maybe it's just really swollen. Yeah.
If you got one fight in Bellator, would you be interested in it?
One fight in Bellator? I mean, I love I still love MMA. I think this bare knuckle thing is super exciting. It's for my style, it's a great fit. But if it was the right pay and the right opponent, I'm a fighter, man. That's what I do. Yeah. Well, cool, man. Thank you, guys. All right, say goodbye. Say bye bye. Okay.
Best
All
luck
right,
on June
guys.
22nd.
Talk
Mind
to you
yourself.
later.
Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.